Alright, let's see. Mic check. Looks like we're good. We know how the audios are, if the music's too loud or if I'm too loud. Alright, so let's see. So you can see I started putting in this little side game mode. It's nothing too big. I just thought it would be fun to maybe just to have something like that. If you wanted to settle some kind of debate with a friend, and you guys just figured let's chop over it or something. Let's decide it with some chop suey or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it. Chop suey is the first thing I thought of, but we can change it. It doesn't matter. So right now it's really early. It's obviously it's gonna be 2-player only. And you would just select your character, and you would just pretty much just go through the material. This is pretty primitive. It's just a series of sequences of test your mites and stuff. So I want to do it a little bit better though. I want to maybe have the materials change, maybe do something with the timer if you were to go through it all the way, and then we have to put like some kind of result screen at the end or something if we wanted to show some kind of results for them. What's up, Gabuloso? What's up, Mame? How you guys doing? How's the weather down there, Mame, in Brazil? You guys going into winter? It's pretty hot today. It was a scorcher. And so this is pretty simple the way it's set up. Let me see if I can kind of give a review of what I got going on here. So we just have a simple let's see, addition game mode. We have chop suey thing right here. This is one hook. This pretty much, I keep track of another material counter because what it normally does, it has, let's see if I can pull this up here. If I remember the address, 105 1700 maybe. It keeps track of what material the player is on, and it increments it after it chops it. As soon as it chops it, it increments it. If it goes over the diamond one, then it resets to 0. So I added an extra counter just because I don't want it to reset. I didn't want to hook into where it reset. And it's basically going to be used just to say, hey, we've chopped all the materials. This player's chopped all the materials. It's time to end it. So that's what we got going on there. We got that hook there. And we've got, let's see, we've got the actual game, the game mode here. So this is what this is executing all this. So when it goes in, it does the formatting. It sets everything up, all the strings, the meter threads, does all that stuff. currently this code here is not this. I was working on this last night, so we're going to continue here. Currently, what we're executing now in MAME is this right here. This is just going to loop us over and over. But what I want to do is I want to make it a little more appealing. I want to stay on this screen, and possibly after you chop a material, somehow introduce the next material. And then maybe we'll think about maybe like a different background or something if we wanted to do that. To me, I thought the courtyard would have been a good one, just for the fact that there's actual audience there, and there's cheering when you chop your material. It kind of made sense. Yes, Kevin. All the MK Plus game revisions are based off the last factory revision. So MK Plus is on 5.0, MK2 is 3.1, and UMK3 is 1.2. All right, so let's get this started. Let's convert into our code here. Actually, let me pull up. Let me see what I have to finish here. Because normally this whole sequence is pretty linear. It goes through. It does the strings. It loads the material. It loads the fighter, and it loads the goal, the target goal to chop the material. So there's some routines in here that we want to reuse, because obviously if we move on to new materials, we're going to want to reset the goal indicator. We want to reload the actual material and so forth. So I kind of used the original routine as a base, and pulling out routines that we would want to reuse. Like for instance, this one would be setup player 1's material. And then we got setup player 2's material. Then we got create player 1's goal and create player 2's goal. And that's just going to be a thread, a process, which sets up our goal indicator. And this is our custom piece where we keep track of a custom counter that we have in RAM. This is just for the end of these sequences, so we know when a player's chopped all of his materials, we can exit. And then when we exit, we're gonna come down here. And 7000 is the process ID for the overall test your might process. So we're gonna find that, and then we're gonna do some things however we decide to do it to end it, whether we just show like some kind of total score, which seemed like a good idea at first, but after thinking about it, it's not going to change. If you chop all the materials, they all have each material has an assigned point value, so the winner will probably always have the same score. So one of the ideas I thought about was maybe we can have a timer that's say 60 seconds, and then whoever chops the most wins instead of whoever chops all of them wins. That might be a better way to do it, because in that scenario, we can have some sort of penalties if you fall short of meeting your goal and you don't chop it. You have maybe like a delay in that pose, maybe 20 to 40 ticks, and then we reset you and allow you to give it another attempt. Sounds like a good idea. So we'll do that. Hey, what's up, Total? How you doing?
What's up, Mariano? What's up, Oscar? Sorry, guys, my chat was kind of stuck there. I didn't see you guys. As a matter of fact, the whole refresh thing of concurrent viewers was stuck at like 4 for a minute there. So yeah, so we're gonna get out of this loop routine here, which I just put in there just for testing, and we're gonna continue executing this. We're gonna finish the rest of this code, and we're gonna set up a timer. I think that's gonna be the best thing. Instead of 9 seconds, which it's not really 9 seconds because you see how fast the digits count down. It's a little bit faster than that. We're gonna give it 60 seconds or so, and then you get a full minute to see how far you can chop up the materials. And whoever goes through the most obviously wins. And in the event of a tie, we'd have to have some kind of timestamp for the materials to see who got there fastest on the last material. Makes the most sense, I think. Yeah. Actually, as far as materials go, there was some talk about materials, and actually Tyrone made some concept materials here. Let me see if I can remember where those are at. So let me find those real fast. Try to remember where. Okay, I think I know where those are at. I think it's on the other computer. Wake my other one up. Had to wake it up. Alright, let's see if we can get to where we need to be now. There we go. Let's see. No, that's not it either. Oh, okay. I remember what it was. I remember. Alright, so I'll show you. We had some materials that we were going to put in here, which we still might, because it's not a big deal. With the way that the script is set up now, it'd be really easy just to add new stuff without having to worry about relocating any hooks or anything like that. See, graphics, concept graphics, there we go. So let's see if we can find them. Let's see, folder. Some added blood stuff. Some Miramax stuff. He doesn't exist, and this is all concept stuff. So some decap stuff on Shang Tsung Morph. Vitality Ice. Did I miss it? Maybe. Well, anyways, there was some other stuff that we were thinking about putting in there. We still might. Right now, it's at a. It's pretty good because we have the improved tower, which allows you to do all the current materials. But if we were to
if we were to do more materials, we would probably do something to accommodate that. I thought I had them in here, but apparently I don't. Oh well, okay. Anyways, like 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab something to drink. I'll be right back.
Love will keep me warm. If you stick around, I'll get what you want. If you feel the same, I know how it starts. I can't complain, cause I get what I want. Is life getting harder? I think I'm getting stronger. There isn't any problem to get in the way. It's not some stupid secret, I know you wouldn't keep it, but now you're not here to get in the way. Haunting me forwards, lose all meaning for change. I always used to wonder if loving you's the same. Now I'm looking forward. The dawn is getting so bright. Now life isn't torture. It's the wrongs I'm learning to right. Love will keep me warm. If you stick around, I'll get what you want. If you feel the same, I know how it starts. I can't complain, cause I get what I want. Is life getting harder? I think I'm getting stronger. There isn't any problem to get in the way. It's not some stupid secret, I know you wouldn't keep it, but now you're not here to get in the way. Haunting me forwards, lose all meaning for a change. I always used to wonder if loving you's the same. Now I'm looking forward. The dawn is getting so bright. Now life isn't torture. It's the wrongs I'm learning to right. Haunting me forwards, lose all meaning for the change. I always used to wonder if loving you's the same.
Oh, sorry about that. I forgot to turn my mic down. So what I was saying was the block button input on Test Your Might is it's monitored at a high level, and it actually is checked. It checks for game state 1, which would be a tracked mode,
to see if you've entered the correct code for the EJB menu. So game state 9 would be test your might, and then game state 1 would be a track mode. So if you were to hit the block button, it would go through here and it would jump to this FFDD 0900 and check to see if you've entered the correct sequence for the EJB menu. Alright, so where are we at? Move 8000 to A1. We're going to pick up where we were. Let's see. This is our chop thread. This is our test your might and block pressed. Check if chop is executable. What we want to do is, let's go to FFDB B2BO. So there we go. There's our stop there. This is the beginning of the test your might process sequence here. You probably should call it a sequence because there's a ton of processes going on here. And we're at, let's see, we're way down here. That's player 1. We're way down here. That's player 2. Clear AO. Yeah, we are. Right, player 2, go. Okay, so we should be right here. This looks about where we're at. 194 in the AO. Okay, and like I said, this indicator arrow process creation. This is something we're going to reuse. So what we do is we call this in here, and that pretty much is going to call that same code there. But we're going to want to reuse that. So that's why we did it that way. I'm trying to catch up here on the chat, guys. If you some of my comments. Yeah, Kevin, when I scored my MK1 cabinet, it had revision 1.0 in it, so it was really, really early. What's up there, Long? How you doing? Striker, what's up? What do you win? An extra life or more powerful hits or instant turbo? Have you code mined for loss? Yeah, Kevin, I completely tore apart MK2. MK2, there's nothing. I would be surprised if there's anything left in that game that was referenced, at least. There could be a ton of stuff on the graphic ROMs, but nobody would know unless there's some kind of header that would define the location, the width, the height, the draw attribute and such, because there's a lot of variables. Alright, let's see. Veil flag, okay. So this is from time to time, since Abyssus gave me the source code for his nice assembler here, I go through and I add or tweak and change things. And this morning I've added this little interpreter button, because normally this would compile the script about once every second. So at about 8,000 lines or so, let me see where we're at. Yeah, 8,700 lines. It can cause somewhat of a delay of the processing of the script. So I went ahead and added this little toggle switch here, which turns off the compiling of it, and I can do it manually with just pressing F5. But that's going to save me a lot of stuttering, because the stuttering was starting to get a little bit annoying. And hopefully it works. I haven't tried it much, so today is going to be this stream is going to be the test for it, I guess. So let's see. So as long as, see if I press S5 here, it should go through, it compiles that. Well, I'm pretty fluent with the code, so most of the time I'm sure if my code's right or not. So that should be okay with working with manual refreshing. Let's see. Audio routine core. Let's see. That's much better, much better. I'm not experiencing any stuttering, any second delays. Much better. Alright, so let's play that till we get down to where we are. We are... So that's where we're at right now. Hey, what's up there, Sess? How you doing? Alright, so we're gonna move 10 into AO. The audio routine 1, is it? Yeah, we'll move that. I'll go through and define all these in a minute. Oops. So there's a flag here. I defined real early in the mapping of the RAM in this game, and it doesn't quite fit the description I gave it back in the days, and that was flag creating scroll portraits, because that was the first time I saw it when I was creating the scrolling portraits on the coin up screen. It seems to be something that's called when something else is being made, maybe to disable something, but maybe we'll find out right here, because we throw the flag and then we take it away here. So whatever is in this FFC7 CDAO routine, maybe that might give us a clue of what that flag is actually for. Alright, let's see if we can figure this out. Okay, so we have stage layers that are coming to play here. We have character layer, we have the layer B for string, and then we have another string layer, which is more commonly used for credits or a secondary set of strings. And the FFC7 CEFO seems to be bound to run after all of those layers are input into A1. So what I want to do also is, while we're here, let's go ahead and get my symbols file, and we're going to define that. And category for this, well, for now, let's just put this in the unsorted, because I'm not sure what it's going to be used for. Just want to get this address just in case I lose it. Alright, so we're going to clear AO. We're going to put the stage layer for the characters into A1, the location for that into A1, and then we're going to call FFC7 CEFO. And it looks like it's going to take the first object within the character layer. It's going to loop through it until it's at the end of the chain. The end of the chain will be a 0. So if it's 0, it's going to jump to a return here. But if not, we're going to move A0. Oh, okay, this is clearing all the velocities for all the objects on that layer. So it's freezing everything on those layers, because 40 is the horizontal velocity, 60 is the vertical velocity. So that's what it's doing. It's going to take every object on these 3 layers and it's going to freeze the velocity. It's going to just clear it. It's going to wipe it. All right. So let's do that. Let's just define that. Clear layer velocities, and then kind of want to define what layers it is. Character. String and credits. Okay. All right, so we got that defined. So now we know we have a little bit more of an idea what that flag might be for. But why is it needed? That's another question. All right. That I did Bronchus spin by. Don't really understand the last message there, Kevin. Maybe you have a typo or something, or I'm not up to speed on what Bronchus is. All right, so we got that. So that's defined. Let's go ahead and let's restart that and. Go back in here, and this is gonna run back through our breakpoint. And now we see if we go through. Here's our newly defined routine: clear layer velocities for character string and credits. We got a train coming through, apparently. Alright, so that's that. So we'll call that, and then we will, what is that, clear AO. Okay, so we're going to remove that flag. Well, the spin animation was in the game, but the input wasn't there, and also there was some of the code not finished. So I finished it and put it in MK2 Plus, and I want to say, if I remember off the top of my head, forward down forward block maybe, and then you just keep tapping block. It's the same input as Trilogy is. Removed from what? What do you mean? The Baraka's spin move? Alright, so we'll go down here. We got a new process that's going to be created here. So we got to figure out what that is and see where that's going to come into play, and see if it's going to be something that's going to be reusable, or if it's just going to be a one-time linear setup and continue from there. So I'm guessing I'm asking, do you know how many ROMs of MK2 are missing from the download ROM sites? I mean, I really don't know. I mean, there could be. I mean, there's only a handful of official revisions, and then you've got Challenger. You have Ultimate MK2 Tournament Edition, and there might be one more I can't remember, but yeah. So I'm not quite sure on that.
Alright, so let's move on here. Alright, so you can see when we stop here, that's exactly when our power meters stop moving. And that makes a lot of sense because there is a routine up here. It is the power meter one. And in that power meter process that we create, that assigns the velocity to these things moving inwards, which it never stops it. So I was kind of wondering, well, what's going to stop it? And now I get my answer. It's this routine here. It takes velocity away from all those 3 layers. So, all right. So let's go ahead and let's put a breakpoint on A7, and let's play it and see what this is. So this test your mic flag I have here, this should probably be renamed for like enable input, because it seems like when it's 0 you can't do anything, and when it's 1 or true, then you're in the process of using the inputs. Alright, so let's call on player 1, so your mic flag at 0, and if it wasn't 0 we would jump to F710, but it is 0. This is going to bring our meter object into A8. I'm just going to call this routine here, and looks like the same process gets repeated for player 2. So let's see what this routine is doing. Okay, so we're taking, looks like the vertical location of the meter, which is going to be not the blue outline of it, but more or less the value. That's what this is. It's going to take the vertical location, which is going to basically just be, you know, how high is our meter up here. And 130, trying to recall what 130 was used for. If I have that up here. Okay, I don't have 130 to find, so I'm not sure what 130 is going to be at the moment. It's got 3. Okay, 3 is, I think 3 is actually the current value. So AO is C6. So I'm guessing C6 is the maximum value you can get. And okay, so let's go ahead and put that in here. Just for reference. So we got BO is the highest value, and then we have 130 is the actual value, our current value. And let's go through this some more. Let's see, A1 is going to be our current value. We're going to move that in A3. Slide right. If it's not equal to 0, we're going to jump to F880. Okay. It's going to do a minimum here. So 1 into A3, compare 4 and A3. C7. Okay, so this is probably just going to be the continuous update of our power meter. It looks to be nothing more. Those goes to player 2 as well. It's going to do a delay. And this is basically just going to keep looping through here. So what's interesting here is, even though this is related to our meter value, there's no inputs on this section. So what we can do is we can keep this. It's probably going to be reusable. But if we don't have the flag, which we're going to be using this flag on and off between our material exchanges, we might run into a problem. So if we don't have it, we're going to go to F710 and F7AO. Okay, so this would still cycle. It would just do a delay and go back up. Okay, so that's good. That's good. So we can roll with that. We can keep that. We don't have to rewrite that. So we'll just go ahead and define that. And we'll just do test your might, update power meter. That sounds pretty good for that one. 680. Alright, so we know what that is. So that one thread does both fighters in one, so that's pretty handy. So what we'll do is we'll just throw that in there because 2017 H into A1 before I forget. Let's go in here for instances. Okay, so I had this previously documented, but I wasn't sure. So test your might power update. So we'll further document that. Update power meter in A7. And we will create, let's see, thread create. Actually, we don't need to comment that because that's actually in the name of the routine. It should be self-explanatory. Alright, so we got that. We can keep that. We can toggle the flag on and off, and that process will still run throughout the material exchanges. So no need to do anything with that. Looks like we're clearing A1. Okay, so we're checking statuses here. We really don't need to do this because our statuses will both be true. But let's see here. Clear A1, jump to 0. Check out this interesting piece of code. We have clear A1. We're going to move player 1's control status in A0 if it's 0, meaning that player 1 is not active. We're going to jump. We're going to check player 2's control status, do the same thing. And if that's not active, we're going to go to 7BO. And for some reason it's going back to check player 1's status. And if that's 0, still we're going to C840, which it's going to check player 2 control status again. Interesting. So we got some audio routines coming in here too. Let's see. So if player 1 is, what audio cues are these? That's what I want to know. Let's put a breakpoint there. let's disable the previous breakpoints. And so what I'm going to do is let me pause this music here and turn up the actual game, because I want to hear these audio cues, because I'm struggling to remind myself what these audio cues are going to be, because I don't recall what these might be. Okay, so that should be loud.
Might.
Is it just test your might?
Test your.
No, it's not test your might, because that's already. So let's go through here. So B7A3. So B7A3.
Might.
Okay, that's gotta be the drums, I'm guessing.
Test your.
No.
Might.
Actually, it could be. Could be drum 2. Let's see here, I got an idea. Like these drums I used in the Shang Tsung's Treasures. Let's see, slot thread. Okay.
Test your.
So what I'm gonna do here is, let's do this. Zero would probably mute it, so we'll just put 1.
Might.
Okay. So that is the drum. Okay.
Test your.
That's what I wanted to know. So, anyways, going back to this control status check, this is a little bit wonky. I don't know why they did it like this. But if the player's not active, then the flag won't get cleared. That's pretty self-explanatory. But why they check it again? So I have B7 and B8. So let's run 2 consecutive audio keys here. Which to me, you would think that when they moved this flag in there, they would have moved the audio routine in there as well. I think that's what I'm gonna do. It makes a lot more sense to me doing it that way. It's nice after a symbol is loaded, it does a compile, which is pretty nice. The timing of it's nice, actually. And we're jumping on to C740, which would be, remember, since we have a super long script. Now we have to make sure our jump names are really specific. I feel like this needs to be a little bit more descriptive here. There we go. Happy with that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move AO into player 1 test your might flag, or actually A1. And that is what player 1 test your might flag. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the audio cue here as well. So we'll do, what was that, B7 and A3? Yeah. And then we'll take this and we'll do that because pretty much the same thing with a couple changes. Instead of B7, we're doing B8. And then we're also checking player 2's control status, which this should be irrelevant for the fact that we should have 2 playable characters in this little game mode here. It should not ever be a one player game mode. So what I could probably do if I wanted to, I can just clear A1, move A1, and then test your might flag for player 1, do the same thing for player 2, and then play the audio cues. So let's just go with that basis that we're not going to have less than 2 players. So we'll do that, and then we'll take this up here, we'll move that, and then this audio cue might overwrite the first one, and that's, if it does, it's the way they designed it to do, because you can't have too many samples playing at once. So that should be good. Okay, so there's that. And now we're going to create a segment here. This is just going to be a sprite. This is going to be the time that comes in. So I'm guessing that we should probably do 60 seconds. And the problem with so far is that we only have 9 seconds to start with, so we have to create another one. She's downstairs cooking. So create a 60-second timer instead of 9 or 10, whatever you guys want to call it. Alright, so let's go over here, and what that's going to do is we got a pointer here in A14, and that is FFDC OEAO. That's going to go to a structure, which is basically a pointer to the sprite header, and then a pointer to the palette. And then it's going to have an ID to assign the object. So all that is going to be reusable, but we're going to do want to use 2 of them because we want to count down from 60 or so. Well, I mean, I can only speculate, Kevin, on the spin move, and it's, I mean, I don't see the mystery behind it. I just think that's something that they were going to do, and they decided not to do it. So it may have been in an early revision, may have not. I guess if you played it, then and you did the spin move on the actual arcade, then it definitely had to have been a real early revision of it. Alright, so this is going to create our time digit. Here's our segment. It's going to add it to the character layer. It's going to move 9 into it because that's when our normal timer starts. We're going to be doing 2 of these, and one is going to start like 59 or 60 or whatever. And then, well, one's going to start at 5 or 6, and the other one's going to be 0, and it's going to count down. What's up, CMM? How you doing? So that's what we're doing. We're going to do 60 seconds. Chop as much as you can in 60 seconds. And during this 60 seconds, we can kind of play with the actual length it's going to be, because it'll say 60, but we can prolong or shorten the delay between the digits changing up, so we can make it faster. It's not going to be a true 60 seconds. It's going to be just like a visual display more than anything of how much time you have left. So what I think I want to do is, let's go in here to our symbols here. Let's go into sprites. Let's add this because I feel the actually, should this be a structure? I feel this probably should be something that's going to be reused here. And let's call this let's call it timer digit, and let's also put A14 at the end, just for the fact that this is, it needs to be defined in A14, and the address FFTC OEAO, and we'll just put struct equals, just for reference here, structural equals sprite pointer, palette pointer, ID to assign. Okay, so that is going to be what we're moving into A14. Call create call table, create segment A14, and layer update character 8. So what I don't see in here is the locational information. There's our structure, that's creating it. It's updating, and here's our digits here. I'm good, man. Had a nice weekend. Got some things done. Feeling quite accomplished. And I'm back at it. Fully refreshed, rejuvenated. So
I guess my thing is, where are my locational routines to place this timer digit? We can go in here to 102.8E20, which looks to be the object structure, and see currently it's at CO and EO, which makes sense because C8 is in the middle of the screen, so I'm guessing it's about 16 pixels wide. The halfway point would be CO, and then EO is way down here. So what I'm going to do is, let me restart this state. Yeah, and I'm going to see exactly when that gets assigned. Let's go ahead and disable that breakpoint. We want to go down to, let's go right here. Alright, so right there in the create segment. Oh, I see our structure. Check it out. Our structure actually has it. It's a part of the structure. And what else is it a part of here? So we got CO, which is right here. That's our location horizontally. EO is going to be our vertical location. We have 1C, which I don't see a 1C in there, so that might not be a part of it. 161. Okay, so that does include the location too, so that's good, because what we're going to do here is we're going to take that and we're going to make our own. And I'm not really sure how much of that we need. But I know we need the sprite, the palette, the ID, the horizontal, the vertical. Actually, let's do this. We can just go back into it and we'll see exactly how much it pulls in. Here's our draw attribute. Create a generic table for us. And anything that's referenced in A14 is what we want to look at. So there's our sprite. There's our palette. AO, there's our palette index, and then next is 3001, which is our ID. And then next in A14 structure we have CO, which is our location. Then we have EO, another location, and then we have, looks like we have something else down here. It's 0. Okay, so we do have the last 2 bytes, which looks like it's going to be defining the Z index. So what we need that right there. So let's take that. Remember, all this was Raiden's fatality we adjusted. And let's do this. And what do we got? We got okay, so there's our structure. So we'll just do chop suey, timer digit 1 struct. And then there's our first structure, and obviously we're going to change the location of it. And then we'll just take that again, paste that there, and this will be digit 2. So the same palette, same sprite, obviously, same ID. The only differences are going to be our location. Yeah, I think there was a. I know Dennis's was one. There was another spot that I heard of in Chicago that those guys used to personally swap the ROMs out for testing. Alright, so we know our vertical location is going to be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to change our horizontal. We're going to bump it over maybe 8 to the left and 8 to the right, give us another 16. So what do we got here? We got probably B8 and then probably C8 would be good. So, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put that in there. And then what we'll do is we'll take this. It's going to be our first digit. This will be our second digit. We'll make sure we put 2 there. Compile it. Yeah. Alright, so what I want to do here is I want to keep track of my, let's see, so 9 and 8, 10. 8, 10 is going to be our I know we have RAM already for clock, for the timer, so let's go and see if we can use those locations in RAM rather than create new ones. We can just reuse those. Have I not defined them? Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got round time first digit, round time second digit. So we'll just use those. So I don't have to create any new custom RAM locations to track. Let's see, let's move A8 into to 8B90. Okay, so move A8. It's going to preserve, let's see, digit 1, object table. And what we'll do is we'll move, let's see, 9H and A10. That's going to be our ticker. And then also we'll do move A10 into the, actually let's go round time second digit. Okay, so there's our 59. We can start at 60. It's not a big deal, I guess. We can do 60. let's do 50, I guess, because we're gonna let this A10 keep rolling through rather than reassign it to 9, but that'll probably work. Driving for where? You shouldn't be watching YouTube and driving, Ryan. That could be dangerous. What's up, though, Ryan? How you doing? My nostalgic memories I can pin down pretty well with these games. Like MK1 was at a local pizza shop called Bambino's. They had a converted cabinet that they converted into MK1, and then MK2 was at a theater. So they had a brand new dedicated cabinet at that theater, and the smell of theater popcorn takes me to that memory, which is awesome. About a dozen guys around the machine. You got your one guy passing around fatality lists for $1 or whatever it was, $1 or $2 for a list of fatalities, and things were pretty competitive. It was good times. Alright, so we created both of our timer digits, digit 1, digit 2. We preserved our object tables because we're going to update those with our sprites. So like, let's see. So we can just follow what they have there into AO. We'll slide 5H by AO. Then we'll add array, timer digit sprites to AO. And this is what's going to fetch our actual sprite. And then this routine down here is going to swap that into our structure. So it's going to be, what is that table? 102.8E20. So we should see an update of this actual pointer here. This FFC8 64DO should probably be updated to the new digit, if it's not already at that digit. Let's see, MK1, MK2 had a blood statewide ban in Australia. Wow, that's pretty strict. That's pretty strict. $10,000 ban, man. If someone had the blood dip switch on, huh? Alright, let's see here. So A0 or A1's actually got. Okay, so that's going to. Yep, that's exactly what it did. You can see it updated it. So let's go ahead and define that routine, because that's a pretty good routine. I can't believe I don't have it defined yet, but we'll take care of that. And let's do that under, we can draw, should we put it as draw, should we put it as object related? Kind of falls into both categories, doesn't it? Let's go object. Thought I had an object category here. Object flags, draw, animation, palette, input, moves. There we go, object oriented. Alright. And let's call this, first let's do our prefix obj. Object, update sprites A1. That sounds like it'll work. And we're at FFC8 06CO. And call. And this will say this updates the object structure in A8 with a sprite header pointer in A1. Okay. That's how you do it. You just research. Alright, so that's our second digit. Okay, so second digit is an A8. Okay, just want to make sure I had the right digit updating. Alright, so that's that. I would say they had that, it wasn't, I want to say Australia had like a totally different cabinet than the US, and a different one other than the Euro one. Had a lot of red to it, I think, I want to say. Alright, so it's going to create, we're going to have a loop up here for our countdown, and here's what's going to factor in how long this time actually is. Because here's our loop that goes through, and it does a delay between our digit changes. And I think 20 is going to be a fine delay, just because of the fact that we have 60 of these. CC30, CC30, decrement, okay. So we don't want to worry about these flags here, because this flag here is going to end it if both flags are true, which means that we are done chopping. We don't want to be done chopping in here, because we want to exchange materials. And we want to end this in another manner rather than the time running out. Well, I guess we do need that, don't we? I wasn't thinking. I was thinking of the 9 seconds, but since we're doing 60 seconds, we definitely want that. Okay. Alright. Let's see where we at here. And AO. And that's going to be time decrement. Alright, so if any of the players test your might flags are 0, we're going to jump to chop suey, decrement, timer. And we'll do the same for player 2. Refresh the script there. Actually, let's save it, because we haven't saved it in a while.
That's interesting, Kevin. I wonder at what revision that he had the Autonomics brand on his pants still. If you stumble across some WaveNet ROMs, that'd be interesting in that's for sure. All right. So what we're gonna do is decrement the second digit, and if it's not negative, I'll jump back up and do it again until it goes from 0 to negative, and then from there we will decrement the first digit. If it's not negative, if it is negative, then you're out of time. So that's how that's gonna work. Alright, so in the event that both players' flags are true, that means they're both chopped. We have to check their material levels to see if they're at the maximum material that they can be at, and then we can end the game that way as well. So that's what's going to be here. But first, let's finish our timer. Figure we get our timer, and then we'll run it and see if everything behaves properly. And we could probably do a reset right here for the second digit. We can probably do loop chop suey reset second digit, and then we'll do this, but we'll call this first digit because we'll jump here afterwards. Alright, so say we go to a negative number. We want to update our primary digit, our first digit, our tens of seconds, and then we'll jump to reset second digit. So we'll do that by, let's do, oops, can't type. So we'll do, let's see, move round timer first digit into A10. Decrement A10. Should probably do is, let's take, see, a low digit. Let's take this and let's put this in a routine here. Let's call this chop suey calculate timer digit, because we're going to reuse this a couple times. And basically A10 is going to be what spits that out. Alright, so it's going to calculate our timer sprite and it's going to update it. We want to do that because when we come down here and we want to we go negative on our secondary digit, that means we have to decrement our primary first digit there, and what we got to do is decrement a 10 runtime. And we'll call this chop suey. Time's up, sucker. So, comes runtime if negative, time's up, sucker. If it's not negative, we're going to call chop suey calculate digit timer. That's going to update our primary. Actually, what we have to do here is we have to move A9 into A8 because our primary one is going to be an A9. So what we want to do here is we probably want to move A8 into the stack pointer for now. And then after we're done, we can move that back out. So we're always going to have our secondary digit object structure into A8 and always have our primary first digit into A9, and then we want to update to use update that primary digit, we just swap it over to A8 because this object update sprite A1 updates the object structure in register A8, so we have to make sure we swap that and then swap it back. So let's see, decrement, so we're going to decrement the secondary, jump to runtime if not negative. It's going to jump back up here to this one here. If it is negative, we want to decrement the first digit. If not, let's see, so decrement the first digit, and then from here, we want to move 9H into 810, and then we're going to jump up to probably, so I don't think we need the secondary digit RAM location because it seems like, actually we don't have to do that, we can just do the jump. So we'll jump to loop chop, so we reset second. Okay, so after we decrement our first digit, we're going to reset that to 9, which is going to be there. And then we can get that, we don't need that in there. And then what we also have to do is we want to move that A10 back into round timer first digit so we don't forget that. We got to update it. And 5890, we have an error. There we go. I should fix that. So we're going to take the first digit, decrement. If it is negative, that means we're out of time. If not, we're going to move that back in after we decrement it. And then let's see. Okay, so what we have to do also is, remember we need A1 is going to have, okay, so that's going to have A10 and the AO. Okay, so that's still set up good. So there's that. Okay, I think we're okay. I think we're good. I'll run back through it here real fast. Alright, so create a 60-second timer instead of 9 seconds. So we're going to create digit 1. We're going to put that structure in A9. We're going to create structure digit 2. We're going to put that structure, or keep it in A8. And then our primary is going to start off at 5, because we're technically going to start at 59. And then we're going to move that value into the RAM location that keeps track of their first digit. And we're going to get our secondary one started here. We're going to move 9 into A10. So A10 should always carry our secondary unless we're running out of time, unless we're negative. And that means we have to decrement the first digit. So continuing on with the flow here, we've got 9 into second digit, and then we go down here. We're going to call this routine. That's going to calculate the actual sprite. So that moves into AO, slides it over, adds the array, gets the sprite location, gets a sprite pointer at that location, and then updates the object in A8, which is already the second digit. So that's good. Then we'll do a delay. We'll check some flags to see if we're both chopped out. If we're still chopping, we go and we decrement A10, which holds our second digit value. If it's not negative, we're going to loop chop suey timer load digit, which is going to be up here. So it's going to take that A10. It's going to recalculate and update the sprite, and it's going to do it again. It's going to do a delay. It's going to keep doing this until this reaches like -1. Then we know we have to move and decrement the first digit. So we'll take the first digit from RAM, which we stored earlier, up here. We'll decrement it. If it's negative, that means we're out of time. And then we'll jump to time's up sucker. But if not, we'll move A10, the newly decremented value, back into RAM. And we'll preserve our 8.8 register value by throwing that to the stack, because A8 holds our object structure for our second digit. And then we'll move A9, which would currently hold the primary digit structure in there, over to A8, and then call our routine to calculate the timer digit sprite, because that routine relies on our object structure that's going to be updated to be an A8. And then after that, we'll restore our secondary digit structure back in A8, and then we'll jump back up to loop chop suey, reset second digit, which will put 9 back into A10, and then recalculate. So it looks like things should be fantastic. I kind of want to go ahead and just see how this runs, because we've written so much here that I think it's time to test. But first, I'm going to grab something to drink, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Where are we at? Alright, yeah, we're gonna test to see how this runs so far. Should run pretty good. Hopefully. Hopefully. So what I'll do, and do I want to get rid of this? Yeah, we can get rid of that. Alright, let's go ahead and let's compile that. Let's write it. And let's build. Can we build it? Yes, we can. I just want to press F5 to launch it for some reason. So let's see what kind of speed bumps we're going to run into here. Alright, so we have a problem with our loading coming in. We have a problem with our time. Well, our first digit anyways. It's good to see our timers actually almost perfect. These guys are getting pretty sweaty. And we're missing our inputs. As soon as I started doing some inputs, it flopped out. So far so good, I guess. I did mention that I didn't see any inputs loaded in yet, so that's probably why it wasn't working. But let's see what's up with our clock. Let's fix our clock here. So it looks like our first digit is not being... Alright, back. Let's see, so we have to move. So we don't have this. We're not calculating our 5. Alright, not a biggie. I don't know about that, CM. I don't know where that's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be there, or I mean, I don't know where else to put it if we were to put it on the menu itself. Alright, so let's see, there's digit 1. What we have to do is we can probably, why do we have this right here, 5 into 8? Let's see, move. Yeah, that's not even used, so we don't have to worry about that. We can just take this out. And what we'll do is we'll create the first digit right here. And since it already has A8, we can just do that. So that should calculate the first digit as a 5, and then we should be able to continue from there, I think. So let's go ahead and write that over real fast. And we'll get out of there. And we'll try it again. Put a little save point there. Oh, I didn't see how well that clock came in because the game save state notification was in the way, but I think it was good. Wrong game mode. Okay, so what the think we're missing a delay before we call the this right here. This is what clears our meters from coming in. So it seems like this delay here should probably be increased a little bit. We can do that on the fly just to see. So I'm expecting a crasher, obviously, because there's nothing that's going to happen program-wise for the time run out. But let's see. Let's increase that to 40, and let's see where our meters go to. We should be good now. Maybe not. I don't know if they. Let me see if that makes a. Yeah, that's definitely not the factor. There's got to be something else going on there. Yep, that's what I am addressing right now. So I think what we have to do is okay, so let's go back into here. Where are we at here? Let's do breakpoint ffdb b2bo. That didn't really work out too well. ffdb b2bo. Oh, you know what? It's paused. That's why it's not. Okay, so let's run back through our code here and see. Alright, so I believe we want to look into this right here. That might create power meter, I think might be. It's either. No, that's not it. We want. That might power meter player 1. That's what we want. Okay. So. Let's see where we at here. Breakpoint A7. So this is the thread that's going to run. Let me make sure I've got that up here. I want this to name twice. Let's see, tester might. Okay, so that's that. That's the problem. Look, we've got conflicting names here. They're both named tester might power meter player 1. That's the problem. So you see we got FFD8 E360, and up here we got FFD8 E360 when actually FFD8 E360 there, and then this is supposed to be a RAM location. Okay, so we'll do it's gonna be the same thing on player 2. So we'll go up and we'll go into the RAM symbols here, and we'll do so player 1 tester might power meter. Wait a minute. Oh, they're different. Oh, I see. Okay, they are different, but I've got different. I'm calling the wrong one, so that's what it is. So I want that. And then player 2's is fine. Player 2 has P2 tester might meter. So that it should be a RAM location, which let me update the script there. Yeah, okay. So that's better. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at it now. Yeah, they have player 1 and player 2 have different procedures that read inputs. Alright, build number 5.0.0076. So I've built this 76 times since that updater was made. So let's see if that solves our meter problem. No, didn't solve our meter problem. But we have input, so that solved our input problem. And of course, we're going to crash on our chop because that's not programmed yet. Alright, so let's go into our actual... Let's copy that. Let's put a breakpoint on that. Let's go back in there and see what's going on inside that process. Okay. So let's take a look. That's storing our material type into it. In our character ID, storing our character ID. We're jumping down here. It's going to set our array location. Our material location, vertical. And then we have an array here, which, let me see what that is because I don't have that listed because all those arrays are pretty much dynamic. With the auto updating stuff, 84DO. Okay, test your mic animation. Okay. So let's see. Animation. Oh, I see. So let's see. This is not what's controlling our meters. Okay. That is setting our material location. Copying our game ID, material ID, and getting our animation for our character. Alright. So let's go back up. Alright, there's our power meter thread. Let's see, and we are on, yeah, that's power meter. Might create power meter. Okay, so let's take a peek there. Reset that. Alright, so this is test your might create power meter. Okay, let's see. This is going to draw a generic object. Okay, move the power meter inwards. So this is oh shit, that's right. With I always miss this, but for some reason, when you write this inside this app, I gotta add another 2 bytes to that, so it works appropriately. So the code is right here because 09E1 8000. Previously, once this moves in, it's going to be a negative value, and I'll show you. It'll be like FFF
F8000 instead of just 8000. So there you go. If you see register A1, we get a negative value. So that's our problem on the relocation of the power meters. So we should be okay there. Let me save it, and when I save it, it automatically recompiles. So we'll just write it over, and we will build it. Let's see here. I thought maybe the outline of the meter was just a sprite recreated twice. Yeah, it is the same sprite. I mean, it has different starting locations defined. Huh. Well, I mean, we can have exploding sprite or heads, but you know, that's up to you to make those graphics for me. I'll make it happen. You just make the graphics. I'll make it happen. Alright, so build number 5.0.0077. Alright, so still the same thing. Interesting. Let's go back and do a breakpoint here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, what's going on? Alright, so let's see. We're moving. Okay, so that's. Ah, I forgot there's another one to do. I don't think that should make a difference, though, but. So A1. Okay. So our velocity is there. Okay. Have bloody stumps if they fail. Let's see. That should be okay. Go. Okay. Alright, so I don't think that's gonna make a difference, but maybe. So let's check it out. Why not? Let's do 5.0.0078. Or whatever we're on. I'm not sure what we're on now. Yeah, there we go. Interesting. Or somewhere along the way if those values aren't right. Let's see. Let's go back up here. So this is object A0 and A8 gets assigned that velocity. So one's going to be our power meter frame, and the other one should be the power meter value. So A8 should be our power meter value. It gets
Gets stored to the stack. Locate offset 0. Stores it. Okay, let me see something here. Let's see what we're missing. We're missing something there. Alright, so A8 should have our value meter. So 102.93.40. And then we have, that's going to be an AO, and then we're going to move our newly created object there into, wait a minute, 102.95D. Yeah, that's just over, okay, yeah, that's, I see something's going on there. Alright, so you can see right now our 102.93.40. So here's our next pointer. So we're going to move that into our stack pointer. We're going to move 0 into A0, which I don't know why the original code was that instead of just clear AO. Let's see. And we're going to create. Okay, so A5 is going to have. Where does A5 actually have? So we're creating an object here, and I wasn't aware of. It looks like that object was supposed to be an A5. So let me go back and see what I missed there. Alright, so let's do FFDB, was it B2BO? Yeah. Okay, so let's see what we missed. Something in A5 before we push A8 to the stack pointer. Okay, so we are there, and over here we are here. So there's our power meter, COC and AO. So that's that. Let's see, A5 into A6. Okay, so that is our material. A5 and A6, move 78 and AO, move player 1 control table into A7, create texture my material, move a flag in, then the color of our meter, which is yellow, C6, FFF1 into A14, it's going to be our offsets. Let's see, move player 1 table control into A7, create texture, create power meter. A8 into move A8 into 20 offset of A0. That's all good. Okay.
So AO into A1, fish my material into A5. One A60, okay, yeah, that's all good. So what's weird here is when we come and we move this offset, it's overriding half of a pointer, and that's no good because it's no good at all. Alright, so let's go. Let's go here. So there's our color for our meter. Offsets, move our control into A7. Create our meter, which should be a new value in A8. And then we're going to store that into RAM. And then we're going to move that to the stack pointer. And then we'll have a new created object here, which is 102.7ECO. And then we'll take that out of the stack and put that in AO. That is 102.73CO. And that's gonna 102.7C30. There we go. All right. Let me write this down. I just want to make sure we're not, our address isn't changing by. Oh. All right, so what do we got here? We got 102. C30. Okay. All right, so that's our power meter value object structure. Push that in the stack. Do that. I'm gonna pop back out. 102.7C30. That's good. Okay. Okay, so let me do this. Since I didn't do a save state before, go ahead and jump back in here. And let's go ahead and get the same breakpoint. And while we're there, why don't we get the right game mode? Might be helpful. Alright, so let's go back through this side of it. Alright, so we have a 102.9340. 102.9340. Okay, so that's 102.9340. What? Oh shit, I see. Right here. This little flag here. I'm only writing half of our 32 bits there. Okay. And let's see, let's check out player 2's as well, just in case. Oh, player 2's is good. We have our full. Okay. Not sure if that's going to be the complete fix, but it is a good start. So let's see what it does. Can you just copy the animation code from the original? What part
what part are you speaking of there? Total MK. Alright, so we are 5.0.0079. We'll get it on one of these builds sooner or later. Oh man, we still don't have. Okay, so let's see. That's all good. Power meter thread. Okay, that's moving that over there. That's all good. Let's see. I'm just checking my my bit flags there at the end just to make sure that we're moving the right amount of data, so we don't have a problem like we did before. Very easy to mess up on, as you can tell. But everything looks alright. Okay. Let's see. Move the power meter inwards. Okay. Let's save that, and then let's also go back into our routine here, and let's see what's going on. What I was interested in this time was looking at, yeah, I don't know why they do this. Move 0 into AO. Instead of clearing, unless it sets a different different flag or something, but I don't think that's necessarily the focal point anyways, it's just the value. Alright, so this is the routine, this is the standard. Here's our move I. And then what this does is this relocates the offset by the value in AO, which makes a whole lot less sense. Well, they had. I didn't know they had Test Your Might in MK9. I didn't play MK9. I really didn't play any of the 3D MKs until MK10. I played a little bit of 4. But anything in between, I didn't play much of. I heard 9 was good. I heard the other ones just were kind of just washed out. Alright, so let me go down here and there we go. We'll go here, create the thread, and our material. Yeah, I heard it's dipping into that nostalgic well, adding old stages. Kind of cool, but not sure I'll play it. I got MK11 and I played it for maybe a week. Alright, so let's see. This is creating our meters. Object relocate offset AO. Okay, so all that's good. Okay, okay. I'm just curious, let's go into this routine here. Okay, it has nothing to do with it, okay. Maybe not. Yes, this is going to create our indicated goal. Okay. Alright, so I want to do, let me see, let me just do like an overview here of our flow process. Maybe I've got something that is written correctly, but the process from creating reusable routines out of some of the code process might be a little out of order, and some might not like it. So alright, so we can get past all the strings. All the strings here are all good. Alright, except player 1. Alright, so there's our player 1 setup. 70 AO 38 A7 B3. This might create fighter. Reserve A1 and to stack pointer. And it's going to make the black square that's behind the material. Yay 0060, that's all the same. Relocate, update character, pop from the stack. Okay. So we're good there. Dash meter. FFDB E360, that's all good. And move AO into table, player 1, table 1 control. Get our material into A5, A5 and A6, 78 and AO. Just my material. There's that flag again that I was talking about earlier. Figure out what that does in total, because it seems to do quite a few things. Alright, so now we're making a power meter here. Everything looks good there. 66 FFFF1. And to oh shit, there we go. It's supposed to be going into A4. We have it going into A14. That's one problem. Table 1 control in A7. That might create power meters. Fine, move 8 in A1 meter. Okay, so let me go ahead and make sure that I have that same offset fixed on this end. Look like I do. It looks like
maybe. Alright, so it's above the 8,000. Okay, yeah, so that's good on player 2s as well.
Sub-Zero. Test your might. Test your might.
Cadence is a massive man-made island off the east coast of the United States, lying roughly 300 miles east of the New York State. It is an independent city-state founded by Cadence Technologies, a mega corporation formed by the merger of Japan's Ikeyama Corporation and the United States BEDA Medical Technologies and Robotics. The merger in 2152 led to unprecedented advances in medical science and engineering. Decades of research and advancements led the world-renowned Cadence Technologies to announce their plan to create a massive man-made island. It would soon become the scientific center of the world, an unheard-of innovation itself, serving as both an answer to the world's growing population problems and pressing science issues. Cadence was hailed by many as an unparalleled achievement. After many years of formalities, the city-state was officially recognized by the UN as its own.
Alright, so we fixed one minor problem with that correction. It was with the power meter was a little, for the player 1 was way off. So, I mean, that's one correction, but that still didn't fix our meters flying inwards. So my guess is there's nothing with this going on because this controls player 1's, and as well as this controls player 2. So the odds of having two errors with the same result there is probably slim. So I gotta assume that we have to look into where was it at? I'm guessing here. I hope my fan's not too loud. Turned my fan on, and I just remembered. What I'll do is I'll remember to mute. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and see if these objects are being put on the right layers and see when their velocities are actually being cleared, because it seems like whatever is going on is affecting both of them at the same time, so I don't think it's any of the creation code there. No, I bet they're not even getting the velocity assignment. That's probably what it is. Alright, so we're going to do a little test here. Let's pull these 102, 9340. That should be our meter value, the yellow portion. And then A8, let's see, what is A8? A8 should be the blue bezel. That's what that is. So 102, 95 DO. And what we're going to do here is that's going to move into the 20 offset of A0, so it should be right in this area here. And there it is. So this is our structure for our value, and this is the pointer to our bezel. So let's see if our velocity is being assigned to it. Okay, so it looks like they both were assigned the velocity. As my velocity number, yeah, should be good. So let's keep an eye on these two. Let's keep an eye on the bezel. Let's keep an eye on our value structure, and let's see when and if these velocity values here and here get wiped. So there's that one. You can see that one's moving. And it's still moving. It's kind of funny. I should have the same values here. There's 8,000, 8,000. Funny is they're not moving right. They were supposed to be moving, but they weren't moving at all. So what are we missing here that's not registering those to one of the core routines that isn't applying the movement to it?
Test your might.
Alright, once again, everything there is fine. I got an idea too. This flag here that we were talking about, 105.11 DO. That has something to do with some velocity flag. What's interesting is this flag gets set, but let's see. Okay, there it's cleared way down here. Ah, okay, I see. The flag isn't being cleared. Yeah, the flag isn't being cleared. Where's that flag supposed to be cleared at? Let's see. It's like a velocity halt flag or something. Okay, so, alright, we're making some progress there.
Ha ha ha! I see. I see what I did wrong there. Holy cow. Alright, so... move. Clear AO. Let's see, audio routine. Where is that at? It should be right here, but clear AO, move AO at flag create and scroll. This is move 05 AO. $58.32. 58.32. 05. Alright, so we're supposed to be clearing a flag there, 05A. Huh, it looks like we have a problem with the script compiling, because it's not compiling. It's not compiling the right information here. It's compiling the instruction of moving that value from RAM into AO instead of moving AO into that area of RAM. Just out of curiosity, does the space change it? It does not. Okay, that's interesting. So what if we do move flag creating scroll portraits into AO? That's 5 AO. So why isn't it? Interesting, as it's displaying correctly. Did I just not? 5600 or 580. Yeah, I think that's right. So if we do oh, 580 should be, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. It's compiling right, but for some reason, let me maybe it's just not writing it correctly. Let's see. Alright, so let's go over here. Let's go over here. Reload, and then we'll go to that address. And we have 0580 11DO 0105. Okay, I have no idea what went wrong there, but it's doing it. It's correct for some reason now. I guess we'll try it again. See what it does, anyways. So we'll grab that, and then we'll grab this breakpoint. At least we've identified the problem. It's kind of a weird one. We wouldn't get any velocity, and then it all came back to that flag that I mentioned earlier. That I should probably look into a little bit more. Just so happened to be something along the lines of allowing velocity enabled or disabled, it seems like. Okay, so that's good. Let me see something here. 105.11 DO. Okay, so that might be okay. It might be something. Yeah, so that's moving fine. But we have. Let's go back up to where we first clear that flag. Right here. So let's breakpoint this. And then let's try again. Alright, so there's that. Now in the original routine, you can't even see this flag trigger, it's so fast. I want to see how many times this flag is triggered, because I may find our problem somewhere in there. Alright, so we got a true set there. Another true set. And a false set. That's exactly what I got, I believe. So we have a true set there. We have a true set there. And we have a false set there. Okay. It just seems like if you watch this 11DO here, it seems like you can't even see that. Yeah, and for some reason on that one it is sticking around. Should be an easy find, you would think, so I guess. Hey, and there it is again. Look at that. I don't know. That's why, because it's doing that again. I don't know what that is. I don't know why that's being written like that, but if we zero that out, you know, besides one of them going the wrong way, it's, you know, that's not a big deal. Yeah, that should be our fix. So check this out. Perfect example. So this is player 1's velocity. Move I, move intermediate 8000 into A1. Here's the assembly 09E1 8000 0000. So that's going to make that go that meter bezel scroll from left to right. Now if we go down here to player 2's, same exact script, move I 8000H into A1. But look at the code here, 09C1 8000. So this is actually going to be a negative value. And that's weird. That's like an anomaly with this. I don't know. It's same exact script. I mean, you can't really differentiate between the two in the script. It's really strange how it's like that. I mean, I can do it. I know how to do it with to make it positive. I have to have the leading 2 bytes of zeros before it, but so that's that. And for some reason, our other problem is right here, I believe. Yeah, there it is. I didn't even notice it. So let me see something here. First of all, let me plug my mic in before I lose you guys. Alright, but I think we got it here. Here's a typo. So everything was working fine with the app and the writing and stuff. But this is like another call to the flag, which must have inadvertently put in there. Let's take a look again. So that's player 2. I mean, that's supposed to be there, but my code was wrong, so let's just fix that code. So do we have 4? Let me see. Let me call all of these flags here. So there's 1. Okay, so we have 1 true, 1 false, 1 true, 1 false. Okay, so that makes more sense because having an even number. Okay, so with that being said, let's try this again. We should be pretty happy with what we got now. And let's go ahead and put some fitting music on there for this. Yay! Yay! Alright, so we're good. So far, so good. So we got good progress. Fantastic. Looking pretty good. Alright, so what we'll do is, what do we want to work on next? The time's up, or do we want to work on the chopper? Do we want to work on moving in the new materials, or do we want to do the in-game stuff? Let's do materials. Why not, right?
Let's group those together. So I'm guessing they got these flags here just for velocity constraints, just because of possibly the multiple objects being created at once, and they want them to move, I guess, simultaneously as much as possible. So they just flip a switch and it allows velocity to kick in. I mean, that's my only reasoning behind that flag. Alright, so next, let's get to the chopped button, because we do crash presently with the chop being introduced, and that should be in the area of FFC 9 6D70. Alright, so we'll do a little chop here, and that's when our block is pressed. So I have a stop here. You can see this is the input check for the EJB menu. If it was in attract mode. So what we want to do is we're going to have to hook into here. And then we're going to have to check and see if we are playing this game mode. Because I think if we keep it like it is, this is what's causing our crash. It's check the chop. So it's going to get player 1 status. Let's just roll through this and see what happens. Okay. So we passed all the checks. We're going to do this routine, which we pushed 1 into AO, and that's going to move that. It's going to basically change the instance ID of this process. And then it should call the audio routine. It's going to return. And then it's going to put the flag on us so we can't chop again, which we'll have to lift that flag when we repeat after exchanging materials. And then it's going to inject this thread to execute the chop. So what we'll do is we'll put a breakpoint on that chop, and we'll go in there and see exactly where we're crashing. So FF81 at 8330. Let's go ahead and see what that one is for. Okay, there's no definition for it. Test your. These are all arrays that I've located, and not all have definitions. So it's going to be an animation probably for the swing up. So we should be okay to up to here. Okay, no, it didn't like that at all either. Alright. Save that state and we'll do that again. So it might be outside of this routine, but we're gonna go back through here and double check here. FFDC 4850. Yep, that's a good pointer. 4870. So we're not necessarily okay. Yeah, so we're gonna crash before we even get to that. Okay. Let me double check our script. Maybe we have a runoff. That's probably it. No, this script should only end with okay, so we are changing our chop flag. This runs all through the chop flag. So it's probably going to be, let's see. So we should be running straight through here. Straight through here. Okay, so I'm going to put a breakpoint right here because we should land here. Yep, okay, so we're landing there. Ah, chop suey decrement timer. That's why, because we're jumping right here. So all we need here is we just need a knot, so we have something to actually jump. We should do a check in there. That'd be a nice little error check. Just okay. Alright, so we got that, so let's go ahead and let's write that.
My name's Dan Ford, and I'll do sound and music. And
Test your mic text to test your code. Yep. It's definitely a test of code, that's for sure. Alright, so when we chop, we should go at least a little bit further, I guess, before we crash. Okay. So we chopped. I'm curious, I don't know what to expect here, so let's just go ahead and chop. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. We don't have our check here, so this right here should be executing. If we both chop. So what I'm thinking is, should we keep the score even in this thing, or should we just nix the score display altogether? The score is not going to make a big difference to this little game here. It's just, I mean, obviously you chop more materials, you get a higher score. Learn the best way to do that. All right, but we're getting there. Definitely getting there. All right, so I think let's do this. Let's do player 1 chopped. Let's call these. And we'll call this player 2 chopped. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, if player 1 has chopped, we will send him there. And if player 2 is chopped, we will send them there. So oops, that doesn't kind of work. Let's try that. There we go. Yeah, so when it comes to that point to where it calls in the score code, we'll take a look at it and see the best way to admit it, because we don't necessarily need the score, because I mean, once you chop through everything, or once you chop more, you know you've won. Right, so so as this process runs through both, I'm trying to find a good way to integrate. Changing the all right, let's do this. First, we got to find out what instance ID our materials are, because we want to wipe those off the screen one way or the other, even if it's just a generic replacement. We have to do something. And at this point, after the chop, we already have an increment to our material ID of each player, so they already advanced in the material ID progress. So let's say we have player 1, he's going to chop, and let's go ahead and do chop suey, set up player 1 material. Let's see, so that's going to be so I wipe out the string as well. So let me get a little list here of things that we have to track. We have to track our material name, so that'll have a unique instance ID. We'll have to track our material
object, so that'll have a unique ID as well, because it's everything we want to clear. Anything we want to clear, we want to clear it by instance ID. Okay, so let's go up and find out our creation points for these things. Alright, so there's setup player 1 material. And this is our reusable one, I believe. Let's see, so setup player 1 material. It's going to move our header player 1 material name into A8. It's going to get material location into A14. Going to create string from header in AO and ID in A14. So let's see, let's go ahead and call that. But first we have to check to see if alright, so let's move player 1 material. Actually, that's not the one we want. We want the custom one, because like I said, when you chop your material, it for the original material counter in RAM, it resets to 0 immediately. So I figured it would be best to track our own in this case. And I also have, let's see, here's our increment chop count. So that should already be 6 if it's at our last one. So it's going to check to see if he's done, because we only have 5 materials, 6 materials, 0 through 5. And we'll do chop suey player 1 done. And the first one to do here is we're going to clear AO, and we're going to move AO. Into the old material spot. So that's over, that's reset to 0. Along the ways, I'm thinking of ways to integrate both player 1 and player 2 to use the same code. So here's an idea. Let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's do chop suey, see if player is done. Alright, so what we'll do is we will take the value at A0, we'll put in A1, and then we'll compare it to 6H. And one time it's not equal, and we'll just go ahead and copy this. We'll just call that return.
Alright, so then from there we'll do clear A1 and move A1 into the value of A0. So that should reset custom material counter. And then from here we'll do, let's see, we'll move that into A0. And then we'll call chop suey, see if player is done. And then if it's not 6, it's not going to have the jump on time FC, chop suey. Actually, no, let's go there. There we go. We want this. If it's equal to 6, we're going to jump to here. And we don't have to do that. That should already be cleared. And I believe this is going to change our status flags here when we move. So it'd be interesting to see if that's going to comply with what we want as far as our result coming out of here. Alright, so trying our best here to integrate some of these routines. So try to be efficient as possible here. There's player 2, okay. Alright, so we'll run this real fast and see, just to check our flag coming out of here, because we may have to modify that just a little bit. What time is it down there, Luke? Out of curiosity. Morning time, I guess. Oops, wrong button. Alright, so what we'll do here is we will put a breakpoint here when we chop with Kano. Alright, so we're going to move his material location into A0. We're going to move value of that. It's not equal. Oh, I see. We forgot to do the same thing. So we're jumping to here. So I guess we still answered our question there. So we want no carry there. Okay, I'll fire this up again. Alright, so that's that. Let me go ahead and get this breakpoint. I should probably turn dip switch on to free play. Might save me about 20 minutes during the stream in its entirety. Alright, so here comes our chop. Color routine. Check out our ID of our material. Okay. Cool, so that is exactly the branch we want. Go here. If more material is left. Alright, so what we'll have to do is we'll have to, since right now in this exact in this place and time of where he's animating, we have to have a small delay in our actions. We'll let him chop. Now after he chops, should we let him go back into his wind pose, or should we take him back to his ready to chop pose? Trying to visualize this and what would look best. See you, Mariano. Thanks for stopping by. So, a couple ideas for introducing new materials is we can just completely just wipe it, real fast wipe, and replace it with another one, or we can maybe do something real outlandish. We can have the new material fall down and push that one out of the way, fall down in front of it, and then make the old one disappear. That might be the best thing to do. So just out of test here, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and get our next material. Alright, so this thread should be separate than the animation one, but we can't do a delay in it, because if we do any kind of delay in this process here, it's going to delay everything else. It's going to delay the timer, it's going to delay player 2's actions, so yeah, we'll have to, we might launch a new process that might look for the end of the animation and then do the swap. Just an idea. But let me see what happens here if I just run this. This is just calling the setup material as soon as he's winding up the chop. So I don't expect it to look great at all. I'm just curious on what happens. Just curious here. Let's see what happens. Actually, I didn't build that, did I? Or did I build it? Oh, so that got the actual string. You can see it did the string name. So, Okay, yeah, so that, let's rename this, because this misled me. Set up player one material string, there we go. I'll do the same thing to this one. Okay, so that's just the string. Obviously that put the string in there because you got stone that's overwritten on top of wood. Alright, so, Alright, so let's see. Let's think about this process here a little bit. I'll actually put that in the wrong one anyways. That should have been up here. Alright, so I think the best thing is probably going to, let's see. Probably launch a couple separate processes here. Yeah, I think Michael mentioned the flame thing too. Yeah, that's a little small. I mean, I think probably the most practical way would be to have the new one spawn on top of the old one, and just remove the old one from behind it. Maybe have the new one fall from the sky or something like that, with a little shake when it lands. Alright, so what we're gonna have to do is, player one is chopping. We're going to launch a new thread, and this new thread is going to be responsible for removing the old strings, introducing the new material, getting rid of the old material, resetting his animation, calling the new material goal indicator, and resetting our test your might flag. Seems easy. So we'll lay some groundwork, and obviously we won't get all that done tonight, but we'll lay the groundwork for those. And probably do some more work tomorrow. Quite a bit of work to do, but I mean, if it could have been already done if I just wanted to just have linear test your mites just coming up one after the other, but that seemed kind of boring and just plain, I guess. I don't know. It just seemed like I wanted to add a little extra touch to it. Alright, so what we can do is we can do, let's name this Chop Suey Update Material. And let's be a little more specific, after chop. And that's going to be the end. We're going to have to end that one because this is just a temporary process. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to find a process ID, a unique one, and we'll just have it dictate, or we can check the process ID when we go into the process to see if it's player 1 or player 2. But let me go up here and see our instance IDs. So let's just play off of what we got here. We have 7201, 7202. Chop Suey. What was that? That was update material after chop. Okay, so 7201. So what we'll do is we'll move 7201, HNA1. We'll move Chop Suey update material after chop. Into A7. And we'll create a thread, and that will be our update thread for player 1 and our update thread here for player 2. Show us the dim Mac. I don't pick up the reference, Michael. You have to fill me in on that. Sorry. Alright, so that's that. We'll get rid of this. Chop Suey decrement time. So after our thread's created, we're going to go ahead and just continue on with the clock counter. You guys are some troopers here. I've had a dozen people the entire stream, and it seems to be consistent. Like maybe one person has left into 3 hours, almost 4 hours. It's not that, it's not a real intriguing feature or game mode or something, but I thought it would be kind of cool to make. And so for now, we will do, just for now, we'll put that there, just so. Okay, so it's going to be our thread here. So when we chop, this is going to be called, and what I want to do is, let's see how much of a delay we're going to have to call. And let's build that.
these. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and let me edit that script here, because let's see, is that all I need? File save, file save, file save. I think that's right. Let me see. Let's see, so that is, just to be sure, we have 525, 2020. And then our other builds. See, this is all custom compact. It's in there pretty good. I like this new approach to the script because everything is compact, nice and tight. Trying to find the timestamp or the build number. I guess I can probably do. Just I want to make sure this thing saves. Okay, there we go. There we go. So 85 is our build number. So if we go ahead and let's see, 12A, C128A. If we go ahead, build C128A. Okay, so we go C128A, and we are okay. So good. I don't have to press save every time. It's going to save it automatically with the script. For the build script. Okay, so we're good there. So let's go ahead and play it. I always forget to save it, and if I overwrite from TMS app without saving this, then it's overwriting the old version of it, which ain't a big deal in this instance here. We just lose a build number increment, but fix that problem before it gets any worse. Alright, so what I want to do is, let me get, okay, so I want to get this right here, this breakpoint here. This is going to be our delay. I mean, this is going to be, yeah, this is going to be the delay at that new thread that we're creating when we chop, so we can reset our stuff. So I want to see it. I want to time our delay. So that's pretty much it. So there's 40. Yeah, 40 is obviously not enough. Oh, we got a loop here. We got a loop here. It's spawning multiple ones. Okay, so look at his face. He's like, oh, that shit really hurt. He's got a chicken nugget. Look at chicken nugget in his mouth. Alright, so we're going to be in this loop just for the fact that we have our test your might flag is set to true. So what we want to do here is we want to probably, let's see. Let's do this. So what we'll do is we'll move that into AO, and then we will, what do we got? 71, what was our, 7201 was it? And 7202, so we'll bit check the 0, 0H into A1. So we'll do move process ID into A1, and we're going to check if it's player 1 or player 2. If it jumps runtime, if not equal to 0, is equal to 0 would be player 2, so that means we'd want that value into AO, or that address into AO. And then we'll call this
Again, we have to be specific with our jumps now since our script is so large. Chop so we update material after chop. Reset flag. So what we'll do is we'll clear A1. I'm sorry, we don't want to clear A1. We want to. Yeah, we do want to clear. Okay, clear A1. Then move A1 into the value at A0. Alright, so 5928. Oh, there we go. Got to get. Alright, so when this launches, we're going to move the location of player 1's flag into A0. Then we're going to get our instance ID out of this thread. If bit 0 is equal to 0, then we'll move player 2's flag into A0. And then when we get down here, our location of the flag we want to update should be in A0, and we will clear A1 and put A1 into that A0, and that should reset the flag for the chopper. And then from here, we want to double this to 80. I might do this in a different manner. I might, just because of machines. Machines, they have a weird time with some things, and I've never seen a delay that was over 40. Even when a process is put to sleep, it's in a 40 thread delay loop. So we'll do that. It'll be 80, obviously, but with 10 more bytes of code. Alright, so that's that. So let's go ahead and let's save that. We got no errors. Let's go ahead and write that. Let's go over here. Yes, reload. Build, please. And save. And launch. I tried launching this after building it in the script, but for some reason, the arguments don't work that well. You get some weird errors. Alright, so there's our breakpoint. Alright, there's our chop. It's going to get our flag location for player 1 in A0. It's going to bit check that. And it is player 1, so we're going to clear A1. Move A1 into the value of A0. And then we're going to do a 40 delay. Oh, you know what? I should. Oh, yeah. This might be interesting because with that flag reset right now, I wonder if we can spam the block button again. Oh, you notice how our meter went down? Doesn't normally do that. Let's see, we're doing the same thing again. We're clearing it. Okay. Oh God, how terrible was that? So we'll have to also distinguish if a player is chopped and has not successfully chopped, because it didn't seem like it wanted to. It didn't want to break right here. It should have broke right here when, if it were to fall in line with the same process there. Oh well. So
was definitely stoked. Alright, so let's see, let's leave some remarks here so when we come back to this, because I'm about to wrap this up. So we'll just do this, we'll just put this here. Reset fighters animation, new material, etc. 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 So let it give us an error, which will direct me right to where I left off last time. So I'll leave that there, and next time we'll pick that up, and we'll continue there and see if we can get our materials changing and get our fighter reset, get our strings removed, and then finally an end to the game. So we'll leave that there. Appreciate you guys spending the 4 hours with me, getting this done. So kind of excited for it. It's not the most exciting game mode or feature I've added, but I think it's gonna be pretty fun. Just out of fun. Just, you know, maybe you're settling a debate with a buddy or something, and you guys you decide to chop it out or something. That'd be pretty funny. So we'll end that there, and we'll pick up probably maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. We'll see. Depends on how I feel tomorrow. It's gonna be a hot day, and probably gonna be a long day of work. Usually is when I return to work after a weekend. So appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys on the next time when we are chopping it up. So have a good night, guys. See ya.